In the Bank of Japan's last meeting of the year, they decided to leave its interest rate unchanged at 0.1%. Today I'm joined by Flemming Nielsen, Senior Analyst at Danske Bank in Copenhagen. So Flemming, what are your thoughts on this and what do you expect from the Bank of Japan's first meeting in 2013?
Bank of Japan is in a similar situation as most other central banks, that interest rates are basically close to zero. So they're not able to cut the leading interest rate. So what Japan is doing at the moment is also very similar to what other central banks, for example, the US Central Bank Federal Reserve is doing at the moment. They're expanding purchases of financial assets like government bonds and corporate bonds. So what they did today was that they expanded the program for purchases of financial assets by 10 trillion Japanese yen. That's a very high number, but to put it in perspective, the pace of Bank of Japan's asset purchases at the moment is about 9% of GDP. And to put it in perspective, the Federal Reserve's purchases of financial assets is about 6% of GDP at the moment. So the monetary easing in Japan is actually quite aggressive at the moment. In my view, the most important part of the statement from Bank of Japan today, that they said that at the next meeting they will be reviewing their price stability target, or basically what they're saying is that they will review the inflation target. At the moment it is 1%. So what I expect is that they will actually expect them to raise the inflation target from 1 to 2% at the meeting. I think that we will probably see a joint statement after the meeting from Bank of Japan and the Japanese government, and a part of this statement will be, in my view, a commitment to a higher inflation target.
Shinzo Abe has been calling for unlimited monetary easing. It is clear they are listening to Abe's request. What type of influence do you think Abe will have on Japan's economy next year, and do you expect the Bank of Japan will fulfill Abe's demands?
To some degree, we must say that Shinzo Abe has already had a big impact. When Bank of Japan is opening up for a possible higher inflation target, it is to a large degree due to the political pressure from the new government in Japan. So besides more aggressive monetary easing, I also expect that we will see fiscal easing. LDP, Liberal Democratic Party, has already said that they will, in mid-January, they will probably announce some fiscal easing. So besides aggressive monetary easing, we are also going to see more fiscal easing, mainly higher infrastructure spending by the Japanese government.
And in terms of the yen, how do you expect the dollar yen to perform next year, taking into consideration the fiscal cliff and Japan's new leader?
Our view is that the Japanese yen will continue to weaken next year due to the market shift we are seeing in monetary policy in Japan at the moment. In the short run, the potential for further weakness in the Japanese yen might be limited to some degree to the positioning in the market. There already are a lot of short positions in the Japanese yen, so that might in the short run limit the potential for further easing. But overall we think that the trend next year, based on mainly the shift in monetary policy in a much more aggressive direction, will continue to support a weaker yen next year. And in addition, we actually also think that if we have some resolution, we do expect regarding the fiscal cliff in the US, it will in general support risk sentiment in global financial market, and then actually probably also support a weaker yen in the next year.
And finally, what do you expect to see in terms of annual GDP growth for 2013?
Yes, if you look in the short term, it will be. That's certainly one of the reasons why Bank of Japan is aggressive at the moment. We are likely to see further contraction in the fourth quarter. Our view is that if we look at 2013, GDP growth will probably be 0.6-0.7%, and that mainly based on very weak growth in the fourth quarter of this year and early next year. We do expect GDP growth to start picking up during 2013, also in Japan on the back of a stronger global economy and policy easing in Japan.
Thank you very much, Flemming, and best of luck with your Christmas preparations. I hope to speak to you again sometime in the new year. And as always, thank you for watching Dukascopy TV. Tomorrow I will be looking at Latin American currencies in our targets and focus, so do tune in for that. Have a nice evening.